Good afternoon, everybody. Waiting for a couple last people to connect to audio. Welcome to this training session for Evidence Madness. Thanks for joining us. My name is Terry Schindler. I'm joined with my partner, Manon Herzog. We're both part of the Polyplexus working group that has been developing this platform with DARPA for the last couple of years. We're also joined by Michael Goldblatt, the founder of the initiative and the effort. And we're here just to take you through how we're thinking about evidence madness. We thank you for your interest. And we just wanted to go through a couple things about the platform, just in case you're new to the platform. And then we'll go in specifically on how to enter evidence. So if you are new to Polyplexus, you will come to when you type in polyplexus.com, you will come to this site, which is start.polyplexus.com, which is essentially the landing page for the platform, unless you are signed in to the platform. And here what you'll see is a quick overview of the platform. We have 4 main components to the platform. The first is a feed of evidence, which are short statements of evidence and conjectures. So similar to any social media feed, there's a feed of both pieces of evidence, citations, as well as it will also include some conjectures. What you do with these evidence pieces that are created is that you're able to link them. So if you can find 2 pieces of evidence, they may be from different disciplines, they may be from the same discipline, you can actually link them with what we call a conjecture, where you can ask a question and say, if this is true and this is true, might this also possibly be true? The third, so we have evidence, we have conjectures. The third piece of the platform is really about engagement with sponsors, research sponsors. So what we have is we host what we call incubators. They have been sponsored by universities, by government groups, by foundations, and by citizens. And they are places where they explore a specific question with some objective, whether that objective is to create an abstract and submit for funding or to inform a potential funding opportunity. And then finally, the fourth part of the platform is really about portfolios, which are private workspaces where you can invite other people to join you to collect evidence and explore and perhaps even put together a proposal for a research funding opportunity. So this is basically, this site will just give you an overview of what's possible on the site, and it will also tell you about upcoming events. If on this, when you get to this page, you click on Evidence Madness at the top, this is a page that will really take you through the entire platform, the entire program of Evidence Madness. The award structure, the disciplines that we're considering, the rules that we have in place, and also talk to you about how to submit evidence, and including our sponsors who have been really supportive in this effort with us. So this is always a home base for you to come back to start to think about if you have any questions about the program itself. What you'll need to do then, once you've got to the site, is sign in to the platform. I'm a registered user, so I can use this and sign in. If you are new to Polyplexus, you'll have to create your account. I'm going to go ahead and sign in right now. And I'm at the home page of Polyplexus by signing in. Let me just show you what a profile looks like when you actually create your account. This is my profile. I wanted to edit it. These are the fields that we ask you to fill in. Your location, your affiliation, some level of expertise or interests, add a photo, and you're good to go. Going back to the home page of Polyplexus, what you'll see here is, up here is always an announcement of whatever live events that we have going on. The active incubators that are active right now on the platform are always listed here on the right rail. In the middle, you see the evidence feeds. You can sort them by recent additions, pieces of evidence that have been most used, or pieces of evidence that have been most liked. You can also search here for different tags to find evidence that's pertinent to your area of interest. Over here on the left rail is really the hamburger menu. And so here's the home page. If you click here, you can discover the micropub feed. If you click here, you can actually create a piece of evidence. Here's where you link two pieces of evidence to create a conjecture. Here's where you go to establish a portfolio. And here's where you go to join incubators. So for the first two sides of this, if you are intending to participate in the evidence madness, you can either click on this side, the right side, where the active incubators are listed, or you can go to join incubators, click there, and here you'll see all the different incubators. The ones that are grayed out are ones that have finished, but you can still access them and take a look at them. And there are two that are live right now, including Evidence Madness. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let Manan pull up her screen so that she can take you through how to enter and submit evidence for the Evidence Madness brackets, which is the topic of our call today.
Thank you, Terry. Let me just bring up my screen. Bear with me for one moment. All right. So we are now in the Evidence Madness incubator. And you can see there is an overview. This is a place you can come back to at any time if you just want to remind yourself of some details. At the very bottom, you also have the link back to the start page that Terry took you through earlier. So that's a way to get back to home base. Rules are over here. And they will be updated as we go through the progression of the Evidence Madness. Right now, they are focused on submission. And then as we go into voting, you will see those. The focus today is the Madness tab. So I'll go in there. And you have two options, two doors in the Madness tab. One is add new evidence. And probably many of you will want to add your own evidence. You also have the option of clicking on add existing evidence, which takes you back to the stream of evidence that already exists on the platform. I'll take you through both, but let's start with add new evidence. In this case, you would enter a DOI link or citation to the paper that must have been published in the last 5 years. This is the rule when it comes to Evidence Madness. And then you add a summary, a brief summary. You then hit submit. I do just a quick dummy entry here for the time being. And let's see, for some reason, it doesn't want to let me submit. So let me try one more time.
You may end up having to refresh your browser.
Yeah, sometimes either go back or hit refresh. So this is the next screen. You enter a brief title. It allows you only 15 characters. So it is brief to just give your evidence a name. Then you choose the bracket you would like to attribute it to: life sciences, physics, chemistry, or computer science. And then you add a brief justification why you think this is a seminal paper and why it might transform an industry by 2040. And for right now, I'm not going to fill it in or hit submit because this is really important. You can only add one piece of evidence. And so I want to take you through both options first. I will come back here and show you how you would add a new piece of evidence so you see the whole process. So I hit cancel for right now and go over to add existing evidence. I guess we will have to refresh one more time. So let's go back into add existing evidence. And you have a couple of options here. Either you recognize the piece of evidence you want to add, and you can immediately go and click add, or you can say, I'm interested in everything that has been added in chemistry, and see what's already here and choose somebody's entry. So I'll choose maths. I hit add. Again, same procedure. You add a title. You choose, in this case, I guess, chemistry. You add a brief justification, and you would hit submit. So just very briefly, I'll go through the entire process with a real example. So I'm back into adding new evidence. I have identified a publication in Nature, so I'm adding the link here. I have also prepared a quick summary, which you can obviously write it in. I just have it ready to go. And then I hit submit. In this case, the title will be Friendship, because this piece of evidence actually deals with friendship and it belongs into life sciences. And I'm adding it because friendship matters. You will certainly be more wordy here, but for just to see how it works, and then you would hit submit. And you can see it tells me that my submission has been recorded. You can look at it, but you cannot edit it or delete it. It's now your entry. So again, there is one submission per person. It is based on first come, first considered basis, but also will be looked at in terms of how good the quality of your submission is. And that's pretty much all there is to it.
So I think it's a pretty simple process in terms of submissions. Submissions are open today, and they will be open through November 20th, at which point we will make the final selections and publish the brackets. And once the brackets are published, then it will be open to voting. So what I should have probably mentioned at the top is if you have questions, feel free to open the chat box on your Zoom. You can type the question in there. We'll be happy to answer them. But generally speaking, what we're looking for is a simple process by which to add evidence that should be considered for the Evidence Madness Challenge. So we'll just wait a few minutes and make sure that nobody has any questions. Again, if you do run into problems, you can feel free to email us. There are multiple links to let us know that. Also, Manon, if you'll just click on home.
Yep.
Just to point out to you all, if you go all the way to the bottom, we do have an active Twitter feed and an active Instagram feed where you can always reach out through those channels as well, or we will always be posting updates and the next round, when the next round is live on those channels, as well as on the upper right of the actual platform.
Yep.
So Michael Goldblatt, you want to know if you want to describe the commenting on the evidence function. By that, do you mean the justification? So the justification is really used as part of the submission process. So Manon, if you go into the Evidence Madness Incubator again,
over now.
So in the justification, because the evidence is a small piece of evidence, right? It's published, you have the citation, but the justification is really meant for you to say, why is this piece of evidence seminal? Why is it likely to change industry as we know it by 2040? So in the next 20 years, what is its impact, and a way for you to explain that. So that's an important part of the submission. Because that's how we will judge a lot of the entries. The title is simply for the brackets themselves, so that when the brackets appear, your title will appear in the actual bracket. So it's a shorthand for understanding what the piece of evidence is and the justification. When we get into the voting, people will be allowed to add comments as well. So either supporting the justification or lobbying for one of their pieces of evidence in the bracket. Michael Becker, we're not going to address all the voting issues. We're just focused today on the submission process because that's through the rest of this week. And then we're going to do a communication on voting. The voting process is really simple. Once the brackets are published, they will be open for periods of time and you will be able to thumb up them to vote for them. You only allowed one vote, and then you can add comments to impact or sway other voters and or make your case further. When we say, how will you deal with duplicates? That's the process of, for submissions, first come, first considered. So if we get 7 submissions, the same piece of evidence, in the same domain, the first one that came in will be the one that gets populated in the bracket.
Okay.
And you'll see in the text box right now, info@polyplexus.com, as well as Monica, our community manager, and then DMing us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. All of those are channels that we will respond to you on, and we'll be happy to walk you through the process or help you with any difficulties you might have.
And as we said earlier, our Evidence Madness page on Polyplexus will be updated as well as we go.
We're really excited about this program and really happy that you're here to express your interest in this, because we think it's a really interesting twist on the way we talk about what's going to happen in the next 20 years and really looking at the pieces of evidence that everyone feels are seminal across these 4 domains.
Doesn't look like we have any other questions.
We'll leave it open for another few seconds to see if anybody has another question.
And obviously spread the word. The more the merrier.
Actually, we'd prefer that. We've gone out, this is posted in many places to try to reach as many people as possible across these disciplines.
Yeah, so if you want to share it with somebody, point them to our website or, of course, any of our social channels. There's plenty there.
I can't tell if there was just one more or not.
I'm not seeing any other comments.
Okay, I'm not either. So I think we can call this, we're recording this. This will also be posted on our YouTube channel, this particular session. So if you have run into problems or you need to remember how to do it, but it's pretty straightforward. And we're looking forward to seeing your submissions.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, we're going to cut it off. Bye-bye. Thanks.